But no, you got to do it, bro. That's valuable information. That's valuable information. You have to do it. You can't just be mad about it. You got to do something about it.
Oh, you do? Okay. Man, if everything checks out, you're being cool with me, I'll be cool with you, and hopefully we'll just,
I promise you right now, I can promise you right now, it's nothing about race. It's nothing about that. I understand your frustration.
You'd think by now some cops would know better, but not these ones. Watch when racist cops realized they were in the hood just for it to end badly. They tried to abuse their power, but this time they messed with the wrong people.
Right, but you don't need ID for a trespass warning. No, you don't. That's not what the law states. That's not what the law states. You can explain your policy.
Apparently, these cops were so bored during their shift that they decided to head into the neighborhood just to start causing trouble. They didn't need a reason. They knew they'd find one, and they did. As soon as they saw someone holding a bottle of alcohol, they decided it was time to step in. But that was only the beginning of their bad behavior.
Florida Statute 901.151 state the only time you're obligated to give up ID when they suspect you committing a crime, you're in the process of committing a crime or you're about to commit a crime.
They were drinking over here. I was just walking through.
Did you see him drinking? But did you see him drinking? You gotta have reasonable, articulable suspicion. And just because you see alcohol don't mean you get to search everybody. Stop talking, you don't answer questions. I want to see somebody try to ID me for just being a free citizen.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your name and your badge number, Cap? Your name and your badge number. What was the reasonable suspicion for checking his ID?
The moment they detained the first guy, things started getting worse by the minute. The police claimed they were just responding because some people refused to show their ID, even though they had no right to ask for it since no one had committed a crime. But these cops weren't the type to back down after being told no.
Ma'am, you, what is your name and badge number?
646, Officer Seeger, Esky.
Why you guys checking IDs? Okay, but do you know which one of these people got a trespass already been trespassed?
No one get arrested for trespassing.
Right, but you checking IDs.
Yeah, because
For what crime?
we have a trespass agreement.
So, but what crime do you suspect them of committing?
So we're gonna trespass.
Do you know personally if any of these people have a trespassing already on them? In order for you to do that, you have to know that they have a trespass already. This is all unlawful. Stop talking to them people, man. Y'all don't have to talk to them. What crime do y'all suspect them of committing?
They don't have that right. I know this.
No, what you can do is you can say, look, it's not trespassing until they don't leave.
I be coming to this
That's not how trespassing law works. Twins, stop talking.
As if they hadn't already shown enough ignorance and bad behavior, the cops came up with a new excuse: trespassing. Of course, that didn't make any sense since no one can be accused of trespassing in a public space. But these officers seemed to think that whatever they said would sound right, so they kept coming out with excuse after excuse, hoping that at least one would stick.
Twins, stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. That's not how the trespass law works. That is not how the trespassing law works.
Hey Nick, liquor bottle right here. She was drinking, so she.
Okay, well then, hey, you gotta handle that. But what they gotta do with her? What they gotta do with her? What they gotta do with her? Now that sounds like retaliation what you're about to do. Because you wasn't doing anything, now you're about to do what?
You want to let us explain, right? You asked us why they're being detained, right?
Come from that bottle.
If there's a law being broken, I can't stop
There is
it.
a law.
What law? Okay, but why is she
That drink,
detained?
this cup didn't come from
You
none of
asked
this
me
bottle.
why she was detained, right?
Right.
And I don't need to explain anything to you right now because right now you are impeding my investigation right
No,
now.
I'm not.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
Nick,
not.
Nick,
Okay.
hear me out for a second, okay?
All right.
Although many people were detained, the cops thought they could easily cover up their mistakes just because they wore a badge. The real issue wasn't just that they made a mistake, it was why they made it, why they believed they could act this way in the first place. So, stay tuned because these officers are about to show their true colors.
I'm showing you respect. You give me respect.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
I don't need to explain why everyone's here, why they're detained. They're being detained lawfully, okay? And she is being detained right now, and that's all I'm going to explain, okay?
That's cool.
Okay, yes, sir.
That's cool.
I explained
He
that.
just said trespass.
Sorry?
He just said because of the trespass affidavit.
Okay, hear me out.
So that's on her. Okay,
I can't
okay.
overspeak her.
Right.
But he said the
Okay,
reason
no,
why
no.
he detained me because we were out. I guess
Right,
we were
but
all
right
out.
now he's saying he's stating the case right now. So that's for you, for her.
Nick,
I'm cool.
I know, and I appreciate that. We're all figuring this out together, right? They're all with each other.
It's like a roundup, though.
No. Listen, when everyone's starting to talk over everyone, and that's when it gets kind of crazy, right?
I got you.
Right now, we're chilling. No one's
Right.
in handcuffs.
Right.
No, we're treating everyone with respect.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's where we're going.
All I'm saying is his reasoning is not justification, though.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
When none of their excuses worked, the cops went right back to the trespassing story. But the man recording knew the law better than they did, and he wasn't about to let it slide. That argument with the officers wouldn't end well for them because they were about to face something they didn't want to admit to themselves.
I know the law on trespassing in Florida. Listen. Absolutely. But it's not a trespassing until they refuse to leave. Right, but you don't need ID for a trespass warning. No, you don't. That's not what the law states. That's not what the law states. You can explain your policy, but I would explain the law. Okay.
You a trespass agreement, right? Or a warning.
Right.
I get your information.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
I get your information. I
Okay.
put it in the system. Then
Okay.
that way, if you come back,
Okay.
right? Now I can say, hey, it's been documented.
Right.
I gave you a warning, and now
I understand that. We can stop. Wait. Let's stop. Now I'm going to explain to you how the law works.
No, not happening.
No, you don't want me to explain to you?
How?
Because listen.
One of the officers tried to talk to the man, but the moment he realized his words didn't make sense, that being a cop doesn't automatically make him right, he gave up. But there's one thing you have to understand, there's nothing more dangerous than a cop with a bruised ego. And these officers are about to show exactly why questioning their authority can be risky.
I'm gonna tell you how it works in Florida, right? This is private property. This is. Watch that school.
I got this information when I get down on him. Agree? Blue? Yeah, not yet. This way. Did you run a secret? Hey.
I'm listening to you.
All right. So
I have respect. You know?
you get called to private property, right? The owner said I want X person. The owner said I want this person to leave my property, right? You tell that person you have to leave the property. If that person refuses to leave the property, he is then trespassing. If he doesn't, if he leaves after you say this is your trespassing warning, Florida state statute states suspected of a crime, about to commit a crime, in the process of committing a crime.
What about loitering?
Loitering is, no, you can't do loitering.
Why can't I?
Because loitering is an unusual time and manner. Unusual time and manner.
If the owner, I'm not talking about loitering and prowling. I'm talking about loitering.
It was almost comical how clueless these cops were. For people whose jobs it is to enforce the law, they didn't seem to know much about it. It was honestly sad that a man who doesn't even work in legal affairs had to school them on their own job. And of course, instead of admitting they were wrong and walking away, these officers were ready to do whatever it took to come out on top.
So if the owner,
Loitering is unusual time and manner.
you gonna let me talk, or you gonna repeat the same thing 3-4 times?
You got to go by the law.
Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is that whenever the owner entrusts the city of Lauderhill Police and they sign a trespass agreement,
not disagreeing
and they
with
say,
that.
hey, at any time, 24/7,
I'm
when
not
Lauderhill
disagreeing
Police
with that.
come onto this premises, they can trespass people. They have our authority extended.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here
Listen,
then. If you're
but
saying
okay,
absolutely,
I heard you. But now we have to talk about trespassing is a crime.
right.
Trespassing is a crime. For you to come up and tell somebody that they're trespassing after they've been invited onto the property, that's no longer a crime. The crime occurs when they refuse to leave. That's when it becomes
We
trespassing.
need a business. We don't need a business
I don't need
owner.
somebody to tell me.
It doesn't matter. You have to give a person the opportunity to leave.
Yes.
How do we?
But you didn't do-
How do you document a trespass warning?
This man couldn't have explained trespassing laws to the cops any better. Of course, they should already know that, but some officers never fail to surprise us. Still, it won't be long before these cops realize that their word isn't as powerful as they think, and that they don't nearly have as much authority as they believe they do.
You got to take that up with the state. The state wrote the statute. Yeah, you do. Because I don't want, trust me. If you tell me right now, Nick, I'm giving you a trespassing warning. You have to get out this property. If I start to leave and you ask me for my ID, you're going to take me to jail. I promise you that. Try it. Try it. I promise you.
We already have your
and then I'm going to sue you.
We already have your information.
And then I'm going to sue you.
No, we already have your information. So it would be the next time you show up.
That's not how it works, man. I'm telling you. File a complaint. File a complaint. File a complaint.
Because I don't.
You don't have to.
It don't matter. I was just passing through the
File a complaint. File a complaint. And I love a lot of your police department. I can't believe y'all doing this, man.
That's all I can tell you. Yeah, that's all you can tell me. But I got.
But no, you got to do it, bro. That's valuable information. That's valuable information. You have to do it. You can't just be mad about it. You got to do something about it.
Isn't it strange how these cops acted in the hood? It's like they automatically assume that people with different skin color must be doing something wrong just because of how they look. And of course, all it took for them to react was seeing a bottle of alcohol, as if that proved anything at all. But these racist officers are about to learn what it really means to step into the hood. It's not going to end well for them.
You can't just be mad. You just want to be mad about it.
I ain't gotta identify myself.
You guys are loitering on the property. We're trespassing.
All right, y'all done? Are y'all done?
You're loitering or the trespassing.
I'm walking through a
I know.
from a bus stop.
They're
Home.
Right.
I'm going home.
But I told you what to do.
All right, whatever. Trying to give me the shit. If I'm trying to give you what you're asking for right here, you got it. Just give me the shit, bro. Y'all done took me out of it. Y'all see I ain't got nothing. I'm just feeling like how that's. I think everybody goes to
What the cops didn't realize is that these people are united. They stand by each other, and they know how to defend themselves against officers who are so hungry for the power that they're willing to make reckless, intentional mistakes. Mistakes that could cost them their qualified immunity or even their jobs. But once cops start digging a hole for themselves, they don't know how to stop, and they sure don't know how to climb out.
Can't even walk through a plaza without getting stopped.
Okay, man, let it go.
You good to go?
I told you what to do.
We got questions. We got enough. You guys good?
Yeah, they're.
I work 2 jobs. Yeah, that's all I got.
Hey, is he trespassing? Up life. Y'all.
You're going home? Listen, if you're gonna come back, like conduct business and go home. Just don't hang out.
I'm looking for
Out of here, I'm disappointed, man.
All right, Nick.
I mess with y'all, man. I'm disappointed, man.
You're a hard man to please sometimes.
Yeah, because I go by the law only.
Even after all that time, when the cops realized their words and commands no longer held any weight, they turned to aggression. They still believed they were in control, even in a place where no one truly was, and that was never going to end well. Without wasting another moment, one of the officers escalated things further, threatening this man's civil rights more than ever before.
Ask them would I cover for them if they was doing wrong.
No, I know.
I wouldn't.
Hey, I've dealt with you plenty of times, man.
I wouldn't cover if y'all was doing a legitimate job, man, but y'all abusing the trespassing statute, man. Yeah, but in order, but you don't have to check ID to give a warning. You don't. That's your policy.
No, it's not policy.
Look, Nick, if I tell you, Nick, you're no longer allowed on this property.
Right.
The next time you come back tomorrow, and I come back, how do I verify that you're not supposed to?
Because you know you told me.
But what if I'm not working?
So what I
But then that's not my problem. I'm gonna protect. Listen,
Nick,
listen.
come on now.
I'm being real. I'm not laughing. Listen,
Nick, come
listen,
on, dude.
listen. In the United States of America, I'm protected by the 4th Amendment. In the state of Florida, I'm protected by 901.151. That states the only time I'm obligated to give you my ID.
Isn't it ironic that these officers, almost all of whom took an oath at the start of their careers to protect the civil rights of people, now act like the Constitution doesn't even apply? Or maybe they just assume that it doesn't apply to people with a different skin color. Because let's be honest, it's clear that this whole incident started because of that one fact.
When you suspect me of committing a crime, I'm in the process of committing a crime, or I'm just about to commit a crime. Those are the only 3 times you have where I'm obligated to give you my ID. That's it, period. There's no second standard. No, you don't. You don't. That's your policy. I'm not, listen, it ain't up to me to complain. I know I can, but I wasn't the one, my rights wasn't trampled. My rights wasn't trampled. I'm going to show the world what happened, and if they want to complain, they can. I know I can. They'll see the video. They got to go complain. I'm encouraging them to do it. I can't do it all for them. Look, I respect y'all, man.
We see them here hanging out all the time.
I understand that. I respect y'all.
And before you hear the final desperate attempts from these officers to come out on top and prove they were right all along, I want to ask you, have you ever dealt with cops who acted like they were above the law? Like they could do whatever they wanted without consequences? If so, how did you handle it? Share your story in the comments.
Listen, if somebody would have been here that you already told was trespassing, you would have took his ass to jail, I would have said, look, your ass shouldn't have been on this property. Then they need to take that up with the state legislator. They need to change the law because there's nothing in the law that allows other than those 3 criteria I gave you. Nothing else. I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. Because people don't know their rights. People don't know their rights. Most trespassing charges don't even go to trial. Big Nick, South Florida Accountability. I'm gonna talk to these guys because I know I'm off camera. And I just don't want to seem like an asshole. I'm riled up, but I do respect them, but I am upset with them. But I do want to talk to them off camera. Big Nick, South Florida Accountability. Out.
It's clear these officers were trying to intimidate people because that's what many cops aim for. Fear disguised as respect. But all they got in return was a harsh reality check when their actions ended up online for everyone to see. And if you thought these officers went too far violating civil rights, just wait till you see our next case. Speaking of racist cops who got a rude awakening and had their power trip cut short, let's talk about the officers who stopped a man in the middle of the road for absolutely no reason. When you see how many squad cars pulled up behind him, you'd assume he was some kind of dangerous criminal. But the truth? Well, it's way more shocking than that.
That's nothing to do with it. You just happen to be black and I just happen to be white. Sell drugs, get rich, and then they have these other shell companies that are shell companies. Well, we'll just stand by. Okay, we're working on that. You want to go back and say, he wants my supervisor. I don't know.
He wants a supervisor?
Yep.
All right, I'll call for one.
Yep.
I got it. 10, 211.
Since the officers couldn't explain why they stopped the man, they had no real reason at all. They decided to just waste his time instead. Seeing what was going on, the man asked to speak with a supervisor, and to their credit, they actually called one. But let's be honest, it was probably the only right thing they did that entire day.
Oh, is it just him? Just one?
What's that?
Is it just him? Just one?
Just one, yeah.
What's that?
The gig is up. I let him know. All the detectives will follow. So. Sir, that supervisor is on the way to talk to you, okay? But I do need you to exit the vehicle now. Sir? Okay. understand that, sir. I appreciate that, sir. But why did you have to give me my information?
If I was a drug dealer, why not know?
Okay.
If I was a drug dealer, why not give me? I know the law. I don't even have to give you my information.
Well, you do.
Because I haven't committed the crime.
Okay. You operate a vehicle with expired registration.
It's not a crime.
Yeah, you have to give us. Okay, so listen to this. Sir, we're asking nicely. Legally speaking, we have the right. Supreme Court has already decided we can ask you to get out of the vehicle. You choose to not get out of the vehicle as a criminal offense in itself. And we don't want to go that area, go that route. Okay? So a supervisor is on the way, but you need to get out of that vehicle because if you don't, we're going to remove you from the vehicle and you'll be charged with a crime. And that's your choice as an American citizen. But we don't want to have to get that way. So if we get out of the vehicle, we don't have to use force when we don't have to.
Of course, any reasonable officer would have stepped back and waited for the supervisor to arrive before continuing the conversation, but not these cops. Instead, they used every second to punish the man for daring to question their authority. They tried to present it as a simple conversation, but the real goal was something entirely different.
Thank you, sir. Step back here.
I want you to take everything in here. I'm gonna open up the trunk for you too.
I appreciate it. Just come this way, please. Just come
I'm opening up the trunk for
I don't
you.
want to touch your hands. No, it's okay.
No, I want y'all to see. Search. Have a good search.
Appreciate it.
Have a good search. Watch this, y'all.
It's nothing personal, man. It's nothing
Because
like,
I'm black and I'm in a beamer, cuz.
it's nothing about race. It's
Nigga,
not
my
about-
family rich as you about to find out.
Here, which way?
Just over here.
It's nothing about that, brother. It's because of that right there. You see that? December 16th of 2022.
So if it was a tag, you're citing that to me it's a tag. This individual told me that drug detectives were following me, bro.
That might be
There's
as well.
people out here doing 90 and 65. You chose to pull me over.
They managed to get the man out of his car to talk, even though there was no reason they couldn't have spoken to him while he stayed inside. It's obvious this was just a small ego boost for the officers. They liked giving orders, even when those orders made no sense. Luckily, this man wasn't stupid. He saw through it right away and knew exactly what they were trying to do.
You cited, I know the law, bro. I got lots of lawyers and lots of money. You told me it was a tag, but now all of a sudden, drug detectives follow me. From where? Where they follow? From a drug house? Because I'm black, I must have came from the trap.
It's nothing about race.
I must have came from the trap house,
I
huh?
promise you right now, I can promise you right now, it's nothing about race. It's nothing about that. I understand your frustration. Have you had any good experience with officers
What's your
before?
name and your badge number?
My name's Officer Zamora. Here, I'll give you my card as well. My name's Officer Zamora of the Broomfield Police Department. My badge number is 5042. Here's my card.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What's your name and your badge number?
Officer Ehlers, badge number 5475.
What's your name and your badge number?
Jay Lingle.
574.
Right. Like I said, it's nothing about disrespect. It's nothing about that.
The dog didn't find nothing because I don't have drugs. I'm a business owner.
The officer swore that the stop had nothing to do with the man's race, but then how do you explain him randomly accusing the man of being a drug dealer with zero evidence? These cops must have thought no one was paying attention, but it was obvious what was really going on. Instead of backing off, they doubled down and kept escalating the situation.
Just do me a favor real quick. Just stay right here. I get you're agitated. I get it.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna just shut up.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Look at this, y'all. 5 of them. 5 cops. They all came for me. I'm a drug dealer.
Like I said, it's nothing out of disrespect. It's nothing personal. It's not because of race. It's nothing like that. I can promise you that.
Okay, so I'm going to let you know what's going on now, okay? So my dog did indicate to the odor of narcotics in the vehicle, so we are going to search the vehicle, okay?
Your dog, he smelled narcotics.
He indicated
Watch
to
this.
narcotics, okay?
Hey, look, hold on. I'm gonna show you something too. Hold on. I have the right to talk as well.
Sure.
You know where I was headed? This is where I was headed. My wife is a chiropractic doctor. I have a chiropractic appointment and to pick up my wife, and you just made me late for it because I'm a drug dealer. Now I'm gonna get back to recording. Yes, sir.
The man was understandably frustrated, and who wouldn't be? Imagine just going about your day, doing nothing wrong, then suddenly being accused of being a drug dealer just because of how you're dressed. Even the officers seemed to realize they had gone too far, maybe even started making up laws that don't exist. But their egos wouldn't let them admit it, so they kept pushing forward anyway.
Yeah, now I'm gonna get back to recording your racist bitch ass.
My apologies, you're losing your appointment there. But
Your dog getting hit on my car. I know the cop tricks because I got a brother that's a cop. The cop getting hit, your dog getting hit on shit. And when you don't find nothing, just make sure you show up and say it in court. Trust me, I got you. Search my vehicle. That's my right.
Hold on.
That's my right.
Hold on.
I can watch it.
Hold on.
Search my vehicle.
Hold on. You just gotta be back here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Go back there.
I'm right here.
You gotta go back there.
I'm not
I don't want
violating.
to put my hands on you, but you need to go back here.
I'm not violating nothing.
Please follow me.
I have the right to.
You have the right to walk.
It's not going to be anything.
Well, you stand right there then.
Let's walk back farther. Right where we were, because that's right now. You do have the right to walk. That's fine. Farther, please. Farther. Like
Bro, I'm fine. I ain't doing nothing to you.
I know you're fine. That's why I don't want to put
I'm
hands
not
on.
doing
I don't want to
nothing
touch
to
you or
him.
nothing. I don't want to touch you or nothing. That's why
I'm
I'm
not
asking.
doing nothing to him.
That's why
They're
I'm asking.
violating my rights.
Please stand over here. Just
Violating my rights.
A little bit farther. All right. Thank you. Like I said, you're more than welcome to watch.
As time went on, while they waited for the supervisor, the officers grew more and more nervous, probably because they still couldn't come up with a solid reason to justify the stop. But instead of backing off, they started giving random, pointless orders, commands that made no sense at all just to make themselves feel more in control of a situation that was clearly slipping away from them.
That's fine. But please, when I ask you, please, at least respect that. Respect when I'm asking you to stay over there, please.
I respect people that treat humans like humans.
I'm trying to show you respect right now, dude. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't even know your first name. But right now, I'm still trying to show you respect. I'm still trying to talk to you man to man, human to human.
It's okay, I'm a drug dealer.
And me personally, the reason why I showed up is because I just pulled a traffic stop over there. It's nothing about because of anything like you're saying. It's literally, I was just right there. Okay, I just want to clarify.
I got drugs in the car, y'all. I got pounds, cocaine, and heroin. I've been trafficking all over the globe. This gonna be good.
Rock, man.
It's gonna be good right here. But I didn't have to get out the vehicle, and y'all couldn't pull me out. I know the law. So you threatened to charge me. That's something else I'm gonna bring up in the lawsuit.
As more time passed, even the officers seemed to run out of things to make up. The ones who always had something to say suddenly had nothing. The man who had done nothing wrong, well, he's completely clean. Their actions weren't, and now he was the one being punished for it. It was clear this had stopped being about the law a long time ago.
So I'll explain that statute if you let me. So
I know the statute. I got a good lawyer.
sorry, that case law actually. So that case law says that in any traffic stop at any time, for any reason, an officer going to ask a person to exit the vehicle.
The law also says I don't have to get out the vehicle. That's my constitutional right. No crime was committed.
It does though. So
No crime was committed.
So it does though. So anytime an officer pulls somebody over, even if they think that it's for officer safety purposes and they prefer to pull a person out of the car, they can.
They said I'm a drug dealer, y'all. Watch this.
Can I talk to you, please? Just out of respect. That's all I ask is with respect. You don't have to respect
You may
me,
not be the
but
one, but you're a culprit to it. You may not be like them, but you're an active culprit
But
to it.
I'm at least trying. I'm at least trying to be one-on-one, man-to-man, and just have a conversation with you. That's all I'm trying to do.
Now the officer wanted to talk to the man and explain things, something he should have done from the very beginning. But let's be real, this wasn't some sudden act of kindness. It was obvious he had just spent the last few minutes trying to come up with something to say. He didn't suddenly become a good Samaritan, and don't be fooled by his words, because everything he did told a completely different story.
I'm not
I
disrespecting
don't know you, man. You don't know
I'm
me
not
either.
disrespecting you.
No, well, in a way, you're not letting me talk. I want to just explain things to you. That's all. I just want to talk to you man to man. You understand what I'm saying?
Look, they done went front back. No drugs, guys. No drugs, guys.
And if not, we're out of here. If not, then no big deal. Okay?
I'm black and I'm in a beam. That's why. We can't have nothing without being drug dealers. I worked my ass off for years in construction before I built my own company.
I bet.
So,
You seem like a hard worker to me.
and he lied. He said his dog hit on my car. Life in America as a black man, y'all. I'm gonna make you famous.
Sir, well, you sit back in the vehicle. You want to wait out here for the supervisor, or you want to wait in the vehicle?
I want you to give me my ticket so I can go to my appointment and pick up my wife.
You don't want to
And you've already disrespected, you just lied.
At one point, the man was so desperate, he even begged the officers to just write him a ticket, anything, so he could leave, get to a doctor's appointment, and pick up his wife. But in their minds, that wasn't an option, because doing that would mean admitting they were wrong. For these officers, pride mattered more than doing the right thing.
He just lied and said that his dog hit on my car. Did you find any drugs, sir?
No, sir.
I know you didn't, because I'm not no dick. Man, give me my ticket.
Okay, if you want to take a seat back in the vehicle.
You are going to give him a ticket?
I don't really want to give him a ticket. I didn't call him on it. I thought, well, shit, the other guy was going to submit it.
Hey, it's up to you. It's your discretion. I'll go ask him to see if he still wants a supervisor, but
Yeah, go ask him.
Yeah.
It seems like you got on a good.
we're getting there. We're getting there. But if he doesn't want one, you want to just take
Yeah,
a
I
look?
can go get this car in the morning.
If not, we all gave him a business card.
Oh, we did?
I have a question.
What's your question, sir?
For him.
Yep.
Because he's the guy that approached me.
You want to step out, or you?
You said somebody gave you intel that I was a drug dealer and drug detectives follow me?
One of the officers finally came to his senses and realized the smartest move was to just let the man go, because the longer they dragged things out, the worse they looked on camera. But just when they thought it was over, the man spoke up. He wanted answers, the kind of questions these officers weren't prepared to answer.
They gave me intel to stop a car, to identify you, and then also to sniff the car.
Who is these individuals that told you this? I have a right to know. My lawyer's going to want to know too.
Yeah, well, it'll be in a copy of our documentation.
A copy of your documentation?
Yes.
You're documenting me when I was originally stopped for my tag,
Yes.
Everything.
That's my reason for stopping.
but you're documenting me.
Everything is documented. It's not just you. It's everything gets documented. Like this.
So who are these people? Where they follow me from? You said they followed me. Where did
I
they
don't have
follow
all
me?
that information. It was a really quick, brief conversation to catch up to your car and stop.
We're only provided certain information. We're only provided when they call him and they say, hey, this guy, we have information that may or may not have any sort of substance such as like drugs or anything like that may be in the vehicle. If there's a violation, such as your tag right there, if there's something,
I can stop.
you can stop.
But when the officers realized they had been caught in their own lies and that there was no logical way to explain what had really happened, they started throwing out excuses. The problem? The excuses were so weak, so ridiculous, that even they seemed to struggle believing the words coming out of their own mouths. So, go ahead and listen to what they have to say. You won't believe it either.
But you originally said it was my tag, but then you said I was a drug dealer under suspicion of having narcotics in me.
Because I was going to let you know on the morning of the tag, and that's why I asked you if you had any narcotics.
But why? Because I was black?
Has nothing to do with
Because
that.
black people always have drugs? It must be because black people always have drugs.
I had no
That's
idea
why.
what your race was until I got up to you. So
Okay, but when you got up to me and seen that it was a black man behind the wheel of this brand new
If
Beamer,
you don't mind, can we talk real quick? Can we talk real quick over here? Because I just wanted to ask you a quick question. On ticket, no. Yeah, you're not.
the city of Broomfield about to pay me. You're going to add some more to our family portfolio.
So real quick,
You've probably heard the saying, offense is the best defense. Well, if you've ever wondered what that looks like in action, you're about to see it firsthand. When the officer realized the man had backed them into a corner, he tried flipping the script, suddenly turning into the one asking the questions, hoping to throw the man off and keep him forgetting why he was speaking up in the first place. Clever move, but not quite clever enough.
So right now, and I didn't get your first name, my apologies. What's your first name real quick? That's fine, you don't have to. I just asked, just so I know. Just so I can call you something, but I'll call you sir. How about that? Sir. My apologies on all this right now. Yep. Just want to continue? Yes, okay. So, this whole thing, I just wanted to ask, do you still want a supervisor to come?
I want to get to my appointment like I was originally scheduled.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking right now. Okay. Would you still like to speak with our supervisor? If not, the officer's willing to let you go with a warning and let you go to your appointment. If you'd like to, our supervisor's here.
I don't want to meet your supervisor. I want to get to my appointment.
You don't want to meet him?
I want to get to my appointment.
That's just fine. Okay. So, like I said, this is nothing about race. This is nothing about any of that. We're giving information. You saw your tags, pulled you over for probable cause of that. I just want to make that clear, okay? This is nothing like that. I want to make that clear.
The officer whose body cam footage we're watching clearly realized just how far they had gone, and now he was using his last chance to justify himself. At least he thought he could. But it was too late for that. The damage was already done, and there was nothing, absolutely nothing he could say to undo it.
So, my apologies to take up your time today. Do you have any other questions or anything for me right now?
No, sir.
Okay, again, my name's Officer Zamora. I appreciate you, man. You were up here when I first met you. You've come down here. I really appreciate that, okay?
I don't have no drugs in the car. I'm not a drug dealer.
You see that, okay? So, I've seen the respect now. I hope you've seen my respect here. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to clarify. I'll let you get on your day, go to your appointment. If you have any questions, got my card. Give me an email, whatever, okay? All right.
Sir.
Yes, sir. You have a better day.
Honestly, these officers were lucky that the man they had stopped had places to be and things to do, unlike them, who clearly had time to waste. If he hadn't been in a hurry, who knows? Maybe he would have stuck around a little longer and taught them even more of a lesson that they wouldn't forget. What do you think? Should officers like this lose their jobs or at least face real consequences for their actions? No law says a driver has to roll down all the windows when stopped by police, but this officer seemed to think that wearing a badge gave him the right to make up his own rules. He didn't even bother explaining why he stopped the man in the first place. And the moment the man calmly asked for an explanation, the officer began to escalate the situation.
You guys are good. Just quit moving around, okay? Perfect. You back here, put your hands on the headrest. Perfect. And then you're good right there. You can relax, man. You can put your hands back in. Man, I'm Officer Norman, the Louisville Metro Police. The reason I'm stopping you is you've got to headlight this out. Okay? Not a big deal. I just want to stop and make sure everything's all right, okay? Did you just forget about it? Or?
I didn't know it was already.
Okay.
It was going in and out.
Oh, okay. So it must just be completely out, man. Not a big deal, you know? You got your driver's license on you.
Still without offering any explanation, the officers demanded that the driver hand over travel documents and answer a series of questions that had nothing to do with any traffic violation. But even after the driver complied, it wasn't enough. The officer, clearly not satisfied, then turned his attention to the passenger.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brown, do you still live at 40? Okay. Do you have your proof of insurance on you? You do not? Okay, you do have insurance on the vehicle? Okay. Do you have the registration? Is there anything crazy in the car? Weapons, drugs, bombs, dead bodies? Okay. Front passenger, do you have an ID on you, sir? Do you mind if I get it, please? He doesn't have to give it to me right now this time, but...
Can you believe the officer even asked the passenger for their documents? You don't need to be a legal expert to know that when a vehicle is stopped, the officer is supposed to deal with the driver, not the passengers who have nothing to do with the situation. But this cop wasn't interested in following the rules. Instead, he decided to push the boundaries even further.
I'm the one that's trying to handle
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Okay, so you are from Ohio? Or you bought this? Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, hang tight for me just a minute, okay? So for the video, once my partner gets here, I'm going to have all the, at least the driver, probably the back passengers as well, step out of the vehicle. There's open alcohol containers. I see the beer in the back seat, as well as the fact that the driver's breath has the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage on it. So, you know, just gonna check all that out and make sure everything's all right. Okay, solid. Man, my camera's on, but just for the tape and when you know.
Instead of simply backing off and walking away, the officer chose to call for backup. And of course, over the radio, he did everything he could to invent a reason for the stop. He threw out every excuse he could think of, trying to paint the man as some kind of threat or himself as the hero. And it was clear he wasn't planning to stop anytime soon.
Walked up to the car, see alcoholic beverages in the back seat, reeks of some sort of alcoholic beverage. The driver's eyes have a glazed look to them, and his breath smells like an alcoholic beverage. So whenever you get here, we're going to go ahead and get them all out and get them to the back of the car and probably do a SFSTs and look through and make sure there's nothing else going on. There's a back passenger on the passenger side, and then there's a driver and a front passenger. The driver seems kind of agitated, but like I said, reeks of alcohol, and there's all the alcohol in the back seat. So, plus as I was walking up, they were reaching around all over the place. So I don't know exactly what's going on. They might just be trying to hold alcohol. So, I mean, we have that going on with open alcohol containers, plus the fact of the furtive movements inside of the vehicle. So, I'll get the driver out, and then we'll just work from there.
Since this was the kind of officer who was never really satisfied, he took things a step further and ordered the man to get out of the car. The worst part, he still hadn't explained why he had stopped him in the first place. But as you'll see, that didn't stop him from continuing with the so-called protocol, as if everything he was doing made perfect sense.
Mr. Brown, do you mind stepping out of the vehicle for me, please? Do what? No. I'll explain it all once you get out, sir. All right, sir. Just turn away from me to get out. Just look towards the front, towards the front. Walk back this way. Hands on the vehicle. Hands on the vehicle. Thank you, sir. You got anything on you? Nothing gonna poke me, stick me, harm me? Okay, no weapons or anything? Okay, so sir, the reason why I'm getting you out of the car is because I smell the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from your breath, from the vehicle. You have a glazed look to your eyes, and I see all the open alcohol that's inside the vehicle, okay? So I'm getting you out, and we're going to get the two passengers out, okay, just to make sure that you're not driving while intoxicated or anything like that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to search, make sure everything's all right. You got nothing on you, okay? Have you been drinking a little bit tonight, sir? Okay. Man, not a big deal. You had some beers. You know, we're not the beer police or anything. All right, cash, just showing you. So I'm putting it back in your pocket. Oh, you do? Okay. Man, if everything checks out, you know, you're being cool with me, I'll be cool with you, and hopefully we'll just, you know, get you out of here, get you on your way, okay?
After the illegal traffic stop and the unlawful order for the man to step out of the car, things escalated even further. Now came the illegal search. The officer had no warrant, no probable cause, certainly no consent from the man. But even that wasn't the end of his abuse of power. The escalation was far from over.
So like I said, smelling the alcohol and stuff. Were y'all smoking a little marijuana too? Now that I've gotten you out, I smell a little bit of marijuana. Okay, is there any marijuana in the vehicle? Okay. Yes, Warren, put it back in here. Sir, I appreciate your cooperation. Like I said, I know this is an inconvenience, but we'll get you out of here as soon as we can, okay? Cash, put it back in your pocket. You work at... Okay, how long have you been there? A year? Okay. Switch people in, please, sir. Thank you.
It's clear the officer had no legitimate reason to search this man. He was clearly just hoping to find something, anything, that could justify his actions. Or even better for him, lead to an arrest. Because by now it was obvious what his real motive was. But when the search came up empty, his frustration grew and his patience started to wear thin.
Sorry, I know it's uncomfortable, but we found people holding guns right there before. Step on back here with me. Gibson, do you mind hanging with him? Sit right there on the bumper of your car. Mind hanging with him, Gibson? you mind watching this back guy? I'm gonna get the front passenger out. Just this guy right here. You just put your jacket down, sir. Is there anything in the car that you're worried about? No weapons or drugs, no guns, no bombs? Okay. Can you step out of the vehicle for me, please, sir? All right, you got it? Turn away from me as you step out. Okay, you got eyes on him. Okay, nothing on you, sir? Nothing's gonna poke me, stick me, harm me? Okay, I'm gonna check, all right, sir? Okay. So I'm just explaining to you what we're doing. Walking up to the vehicle, walking up to the vehicle, had the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage.
Remember when the officer claimed he made the man get out of the car because he smelled of alcohol? Well, now suddenly, he said he could smell marijuana too. You have to wonder how many more excuses was he going to come up with before the day was over, just to save face. And then just when you thought he was done, he turned his attention back to the passenger.
No big deal. You know, we're just trying to make sure everything's all right, as well as the smell, okay? So, again, marijuana and alcohol, that ain't the worst thing that's ever happened, you know? So if everything checks out, we'll get you guys out here and get y'all on your way, okay? Oop. I know it's invasive, man, but you never know, you know? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you have an ID on you? I didn't see it. You can step on back to the back of the vehicle with me here. You can just sit down right there on the bumper next to him. On the back seat, at the very back here. Hop on out for me, sir. Turn away from me as you step out. Perfect, just like that. Oh, you all right? Step on back this way. Go ahead and place your hands on top of the car.
The officer repeated the same story about smelling alcohol and marijuana while searching the passenger. It was obvious he was just trying to make himself look justified on his own body camera, creating a narrative for why he was doing what he was doing in the first place. But the truth was simple. He wasn't allowed to do any of this in the first place. He shouldn't have stopped these people at all.
Okay, is there anything on you, sir? Yeah. Nothing's gonna poke me or stick me or harm me? Okay. Okay, man, if that's it, we'll get you out of here, okay? Okay, cool. So did you hear me explain to him what's going on? Yeah. Okay. So smell of marijuana and alcohol and stuff. Have probable cause to search you guys as well as everything in the vehicle, okay? No big deal. You guys just out having a good time?
I'm just here from Ohio.
Oh, man. What, okay. Cedar Point. Isn't that like a, yeah. Okay.
As time went on, the officer made it clearer and clearer that citizens' rights meant absolutely nothing to him. The law, basic decency, respect for people, well, none of that seemed to matter. Just when you thought he might finally back off, especially after finding nothing on the passenger either, he somehow made a new way to surprise you. Because for him, stopping wasn't an option. Not yet.
Put this cash back in here.
That's only $3.
Spread your feet for me. Thank you, sir. All right, step on back to the back. Sit down next to them. If you don't mind, can you kick your shoes off? One at a time, man. Just one at a time. I know it's crazy, but we found guns and knives and cocaine and you name it in shoes. So that's good. It's good. Let me see your left foot. Right foot. Make sure. Left foot. Right foot. Thanks, sir.
Man, I appreciate y'all being cool as y'all have been, though.
Man, I appreciate y'all being for real. You guys have been awesome. Okay. Man, so basically what's going to happen now is probable cause to search the whole car, okay? If you work with me, I'll work with you, man. We're chill. Is there anything in the car you want to tell us about? No guns or anything? Okay, no surprises? Huh?
I said there ain't no guns or nothing in there, but I was searching on the gun.
Okay, so I probably will cost search the whole car, okay? So that's what I'm saying. I'm giving you all the opportunity. If there's something in there, we're all super chill, man. We don't like going to jail.
If that's the case, then...
Let this be a reminder to all of you. Never let a cop go too far. Remember, a police officer has no authority over you unless you've actually broken the law. That means you're not required to identify yourself or answer questions just because they ask. Know your rights. Don't be afraid to stand your ground.
I mean, I have no rights, basically. Telling you that.
Do it. No, you absolutely have rights, sir. But when we have probable cause is established case law that then we have probable cause to search once we gain probable cause, we are then able to search all the occupants of a vehicle as well as the entire vehicle. So that's why I'm giving you all the opportunity just to come forward with what's in the car, because the way you're speaking right now, huge light bulb to us that something's in the car. Is there a gun in the car, sir? Okay, what kind of narcotics in there?
No, there's no narcotics.
Okay.
But I got some marijuana.
Okay.
Want me to give it to you?
No, man, I'll hop in there and get it. Where's it located?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll find it, man. We ain't the weed police, okay? So you three just hang out back here. I'm gonna hop in there. Yeah, if you don't mind. And then do you mind getting their information, these two guys? I have Mr. Brown.
I said, if you're gonna tear my car apart, here.
Okay, just weed though?
Only.
Okay, all right. Man, we appreciate you being cool, okay? We'll get this out of here.
And then, believe it or not, the officer decided to search them again, and this time their car. If only the police showed this kind of persistence when dealing with actual criminals, the world might be a better place. What do you think? Will this officer finally find something useful to justify everything he's done?
What's going on? You said there's a pound of weed?
There's a powder there. That's the way. I said there's like.
Man, if you just tell me where it is, then we don't have to tear it up. Because we basically said, no, I don't want you to hop in there. We don't want to get the dog out here. Dogs have a tendency to mess up cars. I know. So that's what I'm saying is, don't hop back in there.
Even after finding nothing in their car, the officer still refused to back down. It wasn't long before he circled back to search it again, just in case he somehow missed something during his first 10 attempts. And of course, to make things even more ridiculous, he decided to call in another backup unit, because when you've got nothing, the next best thing is to keep pushing and hope something turns up.
Is it in the backpack? Is it?
I had some weed.
Okay, and you don't know where it is?
I don't know where it is.
Guys, why don't y'all just tell me where it is?
Bro,
'Cause
if you let me look in there, I'll look in
I
there.
can't let you hop back in the car. Okay, well you guys just hang tight then, and I'll find it. Who's in there? Oh, hey, what's up, man? Hey, Jew, what's up, dude? Man, so he said there's probably about a pound of weed in here, and I don't know if it's in here. Yeah, this is it. They're being, but that's the thing, I'm super cool about. The moment I said gun, no. So, oh, nice. That's pretty. Okay.
If you're wondering when this officer was finally going to stop, believe me, he probably didn't even know himself. By this point, it had turned into full-blown paranoia. He wanted something so badly, but still couldn't find anything because there was nothing to find. Now he was just grasping at straws, and he was facing a harsh reality check. One that might have cost him his reputation and possibly even more than that.
No, just the marijuana, and then I'll talk to the driver, see, I might just kind of run through some real quick, see how he's doing, and if I feel like he needs to do a whole thing, I will, but he's talking fine and everything, so. All right. Did we get all their information? This is all yours? Okay. Man, you ain't going to jail, nothing like this. This isn't, you know, it's marijuana. Like I said, we ain't the weed police, man. We ain't worried. Is marijuana killing people? No. Yeah, and I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Man, I'm gonna read you something real quick, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney before making any statement. If your attorney with you during questioning, if you cannot afford an attorney, desire one, the court will appoint one for you. You may stop the question at any time by refusing to answer further, or by requesting to consult with your attorney. Do you understand each of these rights, Seth? That do you? Okay. With these in mind, you want to talk to me? With those in mind, you want to talk to me? Like you just told me before I read you those, that all the marijuana was yours.
Yeah, I ain't got, these guys have nothing to do with
Okay.
nothing.
Okay.
That was my marijuana.
Okay.
Like I said, man, we just come to work on it.
Okay. Man, I understand. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, so here's what's gonna happen. Right.
And then, in a twist that made absolutely no sense, the officer started reading the man his Miranda rights, even though he wasn't under arrest. At this point, nothing added up anymore. The most ironic part? The officer was reciting rights while actively violating nearly every civil right the man had. It was a mess, one fueled by power, ego, and a complete disregard for the law.
I'm gonna cut you a ticket, okay? And then you'll get a court date. Just make sure you make your court date, okay? And you'll be on your way. So, marijuana in Jefferson County, honestly, dude, it's not really anything to worry about. They'll probably make you plead to something, give you a fine. So just make sure you make court so you don't get a stupid warrant, okay? So y'all three just hang tight right where you are. I'll ride you up as quickly as I can. I'll get y'all out of here, okay? Gentlemen, thanks a lot for y'all's cooperation, for real. I got your court date pushed out to, sorry, hold on, give me just a second. August 3rd at 9 a.m., okay? 600 West Jefferson, all right? Man, yeah, so just show up, man, and then they'll kind of walk you through it. There's this right here. Here's your ID. Y'all have a safe night tonight, okay? Man, I left the beer right out right here. Huh? Y'all be safe, all right? Yep.
In the end, the officer let the man go with a ticket, even though absolutely nothing had happened. Yet somehow the man was the one who had to walk away carrying the weight of someone else's mistake. Still, there's hope that he'll find the time to take legal action to remind this officer and others like him that there are still citizens who know their rights, value themselves, and aren't afraid to stand up and fight back. Think this was bad? You haven't seen anything yet. In the next video, we're diving into a case that's even more outrageous. Some officers just don't cross the line, they erase it completely. So, don't miss what's coming next.